Hey, book club besties.
From Scrubs to Book Club, we're two burnt-out healthcare workers who love to yap about books. I'm Katie.
I'm Star, and welcome to Aimless Attention Podcast.
Today, we're going to be talking about The Crimson Moth Duology by Kristen Ciccarelli. So, this is the first YA book that we've covered on this podcast.
Yes.
And I have to say, I've kind of talked about it before, but when I got back into reading, I was only reading YA romance. But I didn't realize I was reading just straight YA. I hadn't read upper level YA. And so when I read a few scenes in this book, I was like, oh my God. I didn't know this could be in a YA.
I didn't know there was a difference. I didn't know, like, YA I just assumed was like, and then they went to the bedroom.
Yeah.
And then they left the bedroom. Like, I never thought there would be, like, when I was reading this, I was like, what did Katie, this is YA? Like, I was like, I would never let my children read this.
Yeah, I was surprised. But then I was thinking about it because, I mean, as I started writing my own book, I kind of started learning about more of the categories of stories and everything.
Yeah, you've been teaching me.
And so, but with upper level YA and just in YA in general, there's such a wide range because you have like 15, 16-year-olds, that's still YA, but you can have 18, 19-year-olds and up that are also YA.
Yeah, but I guess in my brain, like, I hate to say this, I just picture 15, 16-year-olds as YA.
Well, and like, I was confused about what the ages were in this book, and I think one of our coworkers looked it up and was like, Rune, 17. And I'm like, that feels weird for not having it be closed door.
Yeah,
she is 17.
But she's older when things, like, change so, right?
Well, no, so if you, I was re-listening to it, and she talks about getting her first bleeding 2 years ago when she was 16.
Okay.
So she's 18 and Gideon's 20.
I was like, I think it gave you like when it started and then it changed to like, because when he was giving us the dates, I was like, no, that's like the beginning of the book. And then like the end of the book, she's older.
Yeah.
And then he was like, that makes more sense. Because
I was confused about that. I was like, wait, that's
I was super concerned the
So
whole time I was reading it. I was like, she's older, right? Because like most people averagely, I would say like 13, 14 for females. Like not, I mean, I know there's youngers, but
yeah.
I would say average.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like,
yeah. But I think she also talks about that she was late to it and everything too.
Yeah, I think
I guess spoiler warning for The Crimson Moth. I don't know if I need to do spoiler warnings before every podcast when we talk about a specific book because I feel like we know that we're going to talk about the books.
Right.
I'll give spoiler warnings going forward, I think, for just when we know we're going to talk about books outside of what we're actually discussing on the podcast. But what I really enjoyed about Crimson Moth, and I first read this probably about a year ago, and then I reread it as audiobook, I liked how simple the magic system was.
Yeah, it was easy to keep up with. Like, you didn't feel like you were like, and then she was over there and over here, and you were like, and then what?
Yeah, and it was there were humans and there were witches. It wasn't like, and there's fae, and there's vampires, and there's werewolves, and like we weren't crescent sitting it up in here.
No,
you know, like
every time I read a book though, like even today I was reading a book and I was like, how dare you add that? It was great where it was going, and then they added another goddamn thing, and you were like, this one I actually really did enjoy. I did actually, I think, audio this one in like a day and a half.
It's a fast read.
It was, but I'm talking like a day and a half, like, you know, like maybe 8 hours, like not, it didn't take me long at all. But I mean, I was busy working, like doing chores, and it was just, and before you know it, the book's over and you're like, what happened? Oh, I got to get to the next book. I do have to say, I did not put it down, which normally I'm like, oh my God, these books are so long and I need to like, this one was good. This one it was just quick enough that you felt like you got to read a book, but not so fast or not so slow that you were like, oh, is this ever going to end? And we're walking.
We're walking. I can't wait to do Throne of Glass and talk about that.
Oh my God. I was thinking about this on the drive yesterday. I was heading out to the coast and I was just thinking, and we're walking. Even the book I'm reading right now is like, are you shitting me? We're walking again. Like,
yeah,
do we ever stop walking? Star needs you to write a book that doesn't have walking.
There's no walking, no traveling anywhere. Like, if you're gonna write a book for Star, it has to be like they can winnow anywhere.
Yes,
like
yes, just be there to be like, bam, we made it. Not 8 weeks of, and we're walking. I saw a horse, and we're walking.
I guess in that sense, there was a lot of boat travel in this book. Did you?
I know there was, but I didn't feel it. I wasn't annoyed. Is that weird? Like the whole time I was thinking Katie's gonna be like, and Star, we were on the boat. What's the difference? What's the difference between horseback and walking and being on a boat. Star will have to come. I honestly don't know. I think it really, I don't know. It didn't bother me. But I come from boat people, so I'm wondering, like, maybe I'm just selfish.
I think it was probably because they weren't just like, and we were on the boat. And we were on the boat for 2 days. And then we were on the boat for 3 days. And then we were on the boat for 4 days.
And then we saw a whale. Like,
like something was always happening.
Always happening.
Like
even, weren't they on a train in book 2?
Yes.
And like, even that was not like, you didn't feel like we were traveling. You felt like, holy shit, what's happening? And why is like, no. What do you mean your hair's changing color? Like, I don't know. Every time something, I was just like, oh shit, something's happening again. I don't know. I felt like that girl. I felt like her life was my life. Like every time she would do something, I'd be like, "Oh my god,
you're
girl."
like, I'm ruined.
Like, it was like, I was like, I'm so concerned for you.
Yeah. So, so we open up Heartless Hunter with Rune, who is the Crimson Moth.
Yes.
Who is trying to help a witch named Seraphine escape the Bloodguard's capture
because they were murdered. Like from the as soon as they were found out, that was like, and it was a lot of times it was public depending on like
so the purgings were public, so they because the witches get magic with their they use blood for their magic, and then there was like whole levels of like if you used old blood versus fresh blood versus like stolen blood versus
I think we talked about the blood, which is how the coworker got brought up because he had to listen to me complaining about the blood, and then gave me gross looks when Katie wasn't looking and kept giving me shit for. And by the way, he's not going to care that we're talking shit about him because I talk shit about him all day at work. But he was giving me gross looks and was like, why would you bring that up? Like, and you didn't hear half the stuff he was saying because you were on the other side. But he was like, just giving me the all day.
I understand. Like, I thought using period blood was probably it was a smart way to avoid detection because she didn't have to cut herself and leave her casting scars. However, all I could think about was that it's not just blood.
No, I had the same thought. And so then I kept telling him, well, that was the problem. See, because we sit next to each other all night and work. Well, not all night, but we sit next to each other working, that I literally was like, and then, it was period blood, like, so it's chunky. And he was like, why are you talking to me? Like, get do something else. Like, and then there was like twice where I was like, and then she like, what do? You just have rags laying around? And he was just like, why do you keep talking to me?
I did kind of want to know how they collected it because like they just said like, oh, I have a vial of blood. And also, how are they preventing it from coagulating? That was my other question because it's got to it'll dry. Like, I mean, you get fresh blood from the lab, like from a vein, and like the lab's already like it's coagulated. We can't do anything with it, So I don't know.
And the author's like, I didn't think that far into it. Like,
that's probably my just healthcare brain being like, lab called and said that they had the coagulated blood and they have to redraw this level.
The poor author's like, how dare they take apart my book? It was great. I don't know, dude. Okay, so it crossed my mind. But I just assumed, and this is going to sound, but like, like the specimen cups, they just like stuffed it like right there and they just held it underneath there, like right and like by the tainted area and was just like, cool, and just let it drip in there. Like you could sit for 20, 30 minutes and have a cup full depending on like how your day goes. Or, if it's cool and we're actually getting into like, technology nowadays, they can have that fucking cup thing.
Like Rune has a diva cup.
They can just like pop it out and be like, look at all the blood I have. I don't know.
I mean,
the cool shit that like we have nowadays.
Cressida was veiled as Verity, so like who knows at some way she created like she was a science student or whatever. Right? Maybe she made the diva cup in this world.
Right?
But
the author's like, thanks guys.
But I really outside of the fact that I had to kind of get past the period blood thing. Granted,
I enjoyed the period blood
thing.
I
thought it was smart.
Because I thought like, I was 100%. Like his whole thing was like every way how they found the witches was they found the pretty markings, the silver like lines that they would leave on their bodies. Yeah. So it made sense to me. Yeah. But I also kind of understood like the why they would cut like inner parts of their body that like didn't seem like they would show as easily.
Oh my god, like freaking Harrow. So I loved the cat and mouse thing that we had going on with Rune and Gideon, especially throughout the first book where they were both like, is this real? Is this not? Like I thought it was very well done because they were both getting very real feelings for each other while also realizing they're enemies. And Harrow, his friend with the missing ear, is constantly just like, did you get her naked yet?
Oh, I loved that. I loved it. I loved it because I was like, he was like, well, you're not going to know unless you get her naked. And I was like, I just loved it though because like, I don't know. Because I just picture her being like, like real young and pretty and everything still being like nice and like, and he's just like, I don't know how to like, I'm supposed to just be like, get naked, woman.
And again, he's like, he's like, because Rune puts off this air of being like a very like vanity forward girl. She's very just like light airhead and la da da, and all she cares about is fashion and like her parties and stuff. And so when we first see her approach Gideon, because she's looking for a suitor, and Verity's like, oh, you should go after these guys because they'll be able to give you information as the Crimson Moth, but like they won't care if you sneak in at night and all this kind of stuff. And then she's like, I'm gonna go for Gideon, and Verity's very obviously like, that's a bad idea, and we realize why later because she's freaking Cressida. But like,
yeah, I forgot about that.
But so when she approaches Gideon, he's just like, this girl is just so annoying. And then he starts kind of learning the real Rune through these like little dates that they're like kind of faking together, and they're like, oh, I actually like you.
Yeah, well, that's what I thought was cute though, because like when you meet somebody, like I felt like their love story was real.
Yes.
Like when you meet somebody, you're like not usually like every book. You're like, oh, it was magic at first sight. We were so in love and we were mated. Stars fucking mated. So
there's no mate in this.
Yes, this is why I probably enjoyed this book. I didn't hear the word mate once. Yeah, so I really enjoyed the slow like progression though, like not the immediate like, bam, we're together and we love each other. Like they had like back and forth feelings where they were like, I think I love you, but then they were like, no, I can't love you. Like, how dare I have that thought? Like, that's a real human emotion. It's not like that. Like, and we're mated, and you don't know that we're mated, and
have to hide
he's
it
known
from
for
you.
8 years. I actually was telling somebody yesterday. I read a study that men actually fall in love a month before a female actually knows she's in love, and women actually go off scent, not off of actual feelings when they fall in love, which I thought was really weird because it explains a lot in the men I've chosen in my life and why I've never been mated.
Never been mated.
No, but it was also really interesting because it actually, the reason why women go off smell is actually their reproduction. So like the smell is them actually being like, oh, they would be a great mate to have babies with. And I thought that was really strange. And so I telling this guy yesterday, and his wife was like, did you know a month ahead? And he was like, I don't know what she's talking about. She's lying. And then he comes up to me and he's like, how dare you tell my wife? I knew. He was like, I knew when I met her that we were getting married. And I was like, that is creepy because that was another study that men are more likely to have love at first sight than women. Mm-hmm. So when I was reading this book, I was thinking like, oh, this is really cute back and forth. And then I had heard that study, or I had read it actually. I had read the study and was like, holy crap. Like Gideon knew when he met her, he loved her. But then he didn't know how to like, so then he kept going. And his brother ended up loving. Oh my God,
the brother.
Oh, I forgot about the brother. But the story is just so intense on how, like, even though men are like, no, I don't love you, get away from me. They're like, usually, it's interesting.
It is interesting, and Gideon does say, I think it's in Rebel Witch, where he talks about, because Rune's like, why did you like act like that when we first met? I think she was 13 and he was 15. And she's just like, I was so excited to meet you and you treated me like crap. And he was like, I met you and I'd never seen a more beautiful girl and I knew I was out of your league, or like you were out of my league.
Yes. But then his brother called dibs.
Yes, basically. He's like, and I knew my brother was in love with you, so I couldn't go after it. And that is something that Gideon fights the entire time.
Hardcore called dibs. Okay, boys, we're letting you know right now. Dibs does not work. You don't get to call dibs. You love who you freaking love. I don't give a shit what your brother says to you. I never understood that whole dibs thing. Like, I saw her first.
No.
Who cares? Like, you might not be her match. Like,
well, and that was the thing, is that like Alex was like, it was so all this stuff happens. I mean, we'll go back and forth on this because I don't feel like this is going to be a podcast we talk in order. I think this is just going to be kind of
a story that like you can't really talk in order because it flows so much better to be like
all over the place. So but we find out, so Harrow does say, like, you know, take her clothes off, see if she's, you know, got any casting scars. He does convince her to skinny dip, and that's when he kind of sees there is like a more wild child side of Rune that she has kind of kept in for a long time.
Yeah. She was trying to be proper in the sense of like what they needed to be.
Yeah. And so he like dares her to do this, and she's like, all right, I'll do it. So then they skinny dip, and it's in like under the moonlight, so he can't see everything, but he's like, she doesn't have any casting stars. And then Harrow's like, but did you sleep with her? Did you look between her thighs, Gideon? And he's like, I mean, I saw her naked. He's like, did you get your head between her thighs, Gideon?
I have to be honest though, like that would be a place like that most people like tend to
There's
cut
a lot
themselves.
of places
like,
they could hide things.
Yeah, like the inner arm, like towards the armpit would be an easy one. I'm over here. The whole time I was
You're
reading
like,
this
if
story,
I was a witch, how would I hide?
was like, I thought the period blood was great the whole time I was reading the story. But then when he started talking about, did you get between her thighs? I was thinking, yeah, because 100% you would do like the inner thigh, like maybe in the armpit, like, like underneath, like towards
Places
the boob.
where, like, propriety wise, you wouldn't be showing.
Underneath the boob. I've got so many, like, I am the worst. Like, no, I don't cut myself, but I can tell you there's a lot of things I was thinking, like, where could you get away with it that people wouldn't notice? Or how could you make, like a pretty design that nobody would notice? Like, definitely under, like, if you had bigger breasts, definitely under your breasts would be an easy one. Like, yeah, this story really had me going like
You're like fully planning out.
I was like, okay, how would I do this? But I really did think the period blood was awesome. I don't know if I would have thought about that.
Yeah.
Like it's just not something that my brain's like, I'm a female and I'm like, period blood was so gross. Why would she think that?
And so Alex was the one who found out she was a witch. So she was at a party at Alex's house at the Sharps place.
Yes.
Or not at the Sharps place, at because they don't own like a big. No. This was after they got Thornwood Hall, I think. Was it? I don't remember, because she was 16. So had the so she was 16. The witch queens had already fallen, and the Sharps got Roseblood Hall after that, and so Gideon was like, I'm not going back there. Like, that's where Cressida used to abuse me all the time. So Alex lived there. And so she was there for a party, and she had her first bleeding, went to the bathroom, saw it was black blood, and was like, oh, fuck. So then she was trying to get...
because, I forgot about that. Okay.
Yeah, so Alex finds her and is like, Rune, come out. And she's like, I'm not coming out. And she like wraps herself in a towel. He sees that all of her clothing is just... And the black blood just kept spreading all over her clothes, and it was partly because she got it wet, but I was sitting there like, how is this just like covering everything?
Well, she had to be like thrown out to the wolves, right?
Yeah,
like, they had to find a way to, like, I guess Alex wasn't gonna look at her chonies and be like, I see a spot.
There's a black spot in your underwear. Did you see that?
Yeah.
But yeah, so Alex from a very young age, so I guess for the last like 2 years, has been protecting Rune along with kind of Verity. I put in air quotes. It was protecting her. Verity had a whole other thing going on. But Alex has been in love with this girl forever, finds out she's a witch, and is like, I will protect you from this. Kind of helps her as the Crimson Moth, only pretty much as a supportive person, because he doesn't want to go against Gideon, who is the captain of the Blood Guard.
Which I thought was really fucking great, by the way. I have to say, the fact that they were on opposite sides of the whole thing was amazing. Like, the love story was like kind of like Romeo and Juliet, two different families that can't come together, but they love each other. I just thought it was great because it just made more like of a story where you were like, holy shit, like, how are they going to figure this out?
And there was just so much more intensity to all the feelings that they had.
True,
because the stakes were so much higher. Yeah,
because he really did like believe that like he had to kill all the witches.
Yeah,
like, he had like a whole thing for himself.
He had a belief that no witch could be good, because he ended up. So there were 3 sister queens. Cressida was the only one I really cared to remember the name of, because the other 2 were dead bodies the whole time. And he ends up being her lover. And anytime he would step out of line or do something that she didn't like, she would punish him in some way. And usually it was like whipping him, or like making him serve tea that one time, and then he was like, this is not bad, and then she's like, oh, I can do worse. So and then he ended up becoming a drunkard and getting high off laudanum, and then he would go to the fighting rings and just let people beat the shit out of him until they threw him outside. And that was like his whole backstory with the witches. So he had no reason to like witches after being treated like that.
I don't think I would have either.
But going back to Alex's love for her, so he's been in love with her forever. All this stuff's going down with Gideon and Rune. He keeps being like, hey, don't do that. Like, probably not my brother, not a smart idea. And she's like, I have to get Seraphine out. She was my Nan's best friend. Like, I have to get her out. I promised Nan I would find her. So
you forgot to talk about how the grandmother wasn't her, or her Nan wasn't her real Nan.
Oh my God, yeah, her Nan.
Because that actually brings some of the story together.
Because we never in Crimson Moth or Rebel Witch, does it ever get discussed what happened to her parents? Like, when she's believing Nan is her actual grandma, does it say what she believes happened to her parents? I can't remember.
No, I'm trying. I do think they do say something in. I think it's in Rebel Witch. They say something, because that's when it all hits the fan on what her parents, like the whole story.
Yeah.
So my brain is trying to, but I don't know if they actually. So in Heartless Hunter, I don't think they do. I don't think they actually say. I think she knows that her nan adopted her, but that's about as far as it goes.
Yeah, because I couldn't remember if Nan gave her a story. I would assume at some point her Nan was like, "Oh, this happened to your parents," but like, which was a fabricated story because we know that her parents were actually the Rosebloods.
Yes.
So, but yeah, I was just thinking about that. I'm like, does Nan ever tell her what happened to her parents?
She, tells her like the truth. I don't think it's the truth because
well, it's not the truth,
when we get to Rebel Witch, that's when she finds out the truth and she's like, "That's not what I was told." Like the reality sets in.
Yeah.
So, but she tells her something, but she knows she's not her real Nan.
Yeah. Well, she knows she's not her real. Well, I thought she did think she was her real grandma. Maybe not.
No, because when she's getting taken away and she's telling her to I don't remember what exactly she said to her, but she tells her something and then she knows at that point that it wasn't her real Nan, and then that's when she starts.
Oh, I meant like for the whole time. Like, I think she thought she was her real grandma.
Well, I mean, I think I think that people that raised you, especially as a child, like you have no reason to question or not your
right. And I mean, I would have
never
never questioned.
I don't know, in my instance, my father's brown and I'm white, so obviously I questioned it early on. But I mean, if there was no distinguishing factor that you were a blonde hair, blue eyed kid, and your parents were both black hair, brown eyed, maybe you might be like, we don't look alike.
Yeah, I guess.
But I don't think that she had any reason to question the.
No, I suppose not. I was just thinking, I was like, I don't know if as a reader if we ever got that story, but it doesn't really matter in the end.
No, it doesn't make a difference.
But yeah, so like I said, Alex has been in love with her. Gideon ends up getting her clothes off, and then they actually start to fall in love with each other, and they both kind of recognize it. And Gideon has been told by Harrow, just sleep with her, just sleep with her, just sleep with her. And he was battling the morality of doing that for a long time. And then finally, when the Blood Guard gets attacked, the Blood Guard is not the headquarters, but whatever gets bombed.
Yeah.
And she sees the newspaper, but it doesn't have the survivors. She's horrified that Gideon died. So she runs to his townhouse. She's beating on the door. He's not there. She collapses on the ground and is crying. And then he's like, "You were worried about me?" And he's kind of clicks in his head, "Oh, she might actually care about me. And maybe she's not the Moth." And so then they sleep together and they have like this amazing night together. And then the next day, Harrow and Layla show up, Layla Creed, who is the good commander's daughter. And they're like, and Harrow's like, "Did you sleep with her?" And he's like, "She doesn't have any casting scars." And then they're like, "Oh, well," they keep like saying things. And he's like, "She doesn't mean anything. I was just seeing if she was a witch." And Rune overhears every word of this. And she runs out and he's like, "No, I was just covering for you because they would think I was compromised and all this stuff." And then she's like, "Whatever." And so she leaves. And instead of going to her house, she rides her horse to Thornwood Hall to Alex, who has been trying to get her off of this island for a long time and was trying to convince her to go to Khalees, I think is the name, with him. And she's like, "I'll do it." He's like, "Go for a month with me." And she's like, "How about a week?" And he's like, "No, because it takes a week to get there. I'm not I'm not gonna have you there for a week." And she's like, "Okay, I can't leave. I've got too many things going on." He's like, "You need to leave." And so she comes back and she's like, she's crying and everything. He's like, "What happened?" And he's like, "I love you. Come with me, marry me." And then that's just they get engaged. I was just poor Alex.
The guy that you loved just told you that he was just slept with you to I have to be honest with you. Human feelings here. Big girl feelings. I would have done the same fucking thing. I would have cut out and been like, and Alex actually loved her. Sometimes you got to take one for the team, man.
I
sometimes you got to find the guy that loves you and stop trying to chase the guy that's a piece of shit.
I understood it from Rune's perspective.
Yeah.
But I felt so bad for Alex.
I mean, but Alex didn't care. He was just yes.
Alex is just I finally got the girl. And it's just but
100%
you didn't get the girl.
I was thinking that I was yes, because he that's all most men want. They were just I won the battle.
Did she admit that she slept with Gideon to him?
I don't remember that.
I don't think that
I don't remember that at all.
I feel like if she showed him was I slept with Gideon and he made me cry, he'd be like, "You slept with my brother."
I don't know. Do you think he would care? Part of me
I think he
wonders,
100% would care, but really? I think he also I think he would be more I'm going to go kill Gideon than anything.
Okay, 100% think this is a true statement. I think I would probably kill Gideon. Come on. What man wants to, I don't know. I've never done the whole brother thing. But what man wants to think what I slept with?
I do want to say I liked with this brother romance, I like that while there was like a little bit of back and forth, it wasn't like, and then I was with Gideon for the entire book, and then I was with Alex for the entire book, and then I was with Gideon again, and I'm just like, girl, go. Like, I was talking to
Pick
our
a brother
friend,
and get on it.
I was talking to our friend about The Summer I Turned Pretty, which we were watching together, and she's like, get out of the family, like pick somebody else. Like,
I totally know what you're talking about because, oh God. Yeah, no. And that particular friend, she the other day was going off about like how like we were talking about that, and she was like, I just don't get it. And I was like, I don't do family, so I don't know. But I was like, I guess like small towns make sense. Like if you don't know any,
and like I guess like there's a lot of those books are like they've been friends forever. Like they've family friends for like as long as they can remember. So then both the brothers fall for her, and then they're like, she's like, oh well, I could have feelings for both or whatever. But I don't know. It's brother romances get a little in the weeds for me when they're just like brother hopping for a bunch of time. That's like what I had an issue with The Summer I Turned Pretty a bit with the show, even though I absolutely loved it and just devoured that show. Like I was fully on board
Katie
with it.
was hardcore into the drama.
I mean, but it sells. Like it works. Like the Powerless trilogy has some of the brother stuff going on.
But the thing is with the whole like dynamic, I think, and the whole reason why people go back for the brothers is because there's some kind of weird. Like, I was thinking about it, like, there's that, like, you know, they were raised similarly, but then they also have different personalities, but they have, like, the same kind of upbringing, so, like, their personality and their upbringing kind of, like, so it's really hard when that's, like, I kind of like that, and...
Well, and it's, like, I've loved you, you know, as, like, a friend loves you, but then, like, I got hurt by this one, so you are kind of, like, my next option in terms of staying in that little, like, love bubble, I guess.
It's gross to me, though.
I know.
Like, as a mother, I'm like, no. Bad.
Like your son's an only child. You
I don't have to deal with it.
Situation.
But like, I guess like in my brain though, there was something else I was reading the other day where it was like a cousin, but it wasn't a real cousin. It was the Powerless one, the Powerless trilogy.
Powerless from Elsie Silver.
There you go.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, no, like I don't care. I grew up with cousins that weren't cousins. And I do that in air quotes in case nobody can see that. Because in my brain, though, like, that's just, like, these were, like, my cousins. Mm-hmm. Like, even though they weren't blood related and we wouldn't have tails on our children, my brain was still like, no, the whole time. I was like, I don't know. I guess I have a lot of respect for myself is what I like to think. I have a lot of respect for myself. I don't do brothers and I don't do people that are cousins. I don't know. Kissing cousins is a real thing, man, and I'm not down for it.
No kissing cousins.
But yeah, the brother thing, man, it really pissed me off though because Alex really loved her.
Yeah.
Like truly did not care she was a witch, did not care anything about, like he truly saw her for her and was like, I love you. Mm-hmm. And she was like, you're still not the one.
You're still not your brother. I think part of that though is that Alex, I think she even talks about it in Rebel Witch when she kind of finally acknowledges her feelings for Gideon, is that Alex always wanted to protect her, would always just wanted to, you know, it was a little Rhysand and Tamlin-y. So, ACOTAR spoilers, I guess.
She said it, and I was like, we didn't do it with the other one as we were talking.
We can't focus on a fucking book.
Because we've read too many, and at a certain point, they all start to blend together. You're like, and this happened to this one.
It felt a bit like that. Like, Tamlin wanted to keep Feyre in a little safe bubble, and that's what Alex wants to do. He wants to take her to Kalish.
Okay, but there are women out there that want that want to be protected, and that is their, like...
Rune's just not that person, though, but she's totally, like, a wild child.
But these poor boys keep getting these women that are like, no, there's plenty of them out there, boys. Just, you're looking up the wrong tree. Well, shake a different one.
And Rune spends a bunch of... to be fair, she did try to shake down a few more. She thought about going after Noah Creed. There was Bart, I believe, that she kind of talked to a little bit. She was looking at other suitors before she looked at the brothers. Gideon just happened to be her best intel at the time, and she went for that.
Yeah, well, you got to do what you got to do, man. Get it, girl. Like, you knew what you needed to do. Girl. You needed to get, you needed to get yourself the intel, and you weren't looking for a relationship. You were looking for who was going to spill the beans on the war game table.
Yeah. Well, and one thing I really liked about Rune was that, I mean, she was a very strong character. Taking on the role of the Crimson Moth is, like, a very big thing, a very brave thing to do when you know the entire world is hunting you and you are actively doing something against those hunters beyond just hiding. Right. So that was all very brave, but I also like that while she had all of those positive qualities, she also was very unsure of who she actually was, because she was living underground and having to put on a face when she was out in public all the time. And she spends a lot of time being like, who is Rune? Like, she looks back at that picture of her Nan and her when she was little, and she's always just like, if I didn't have this going on, the witches weren't hunted, if Nan hadn't died, who would I be? And I really liked that about her, because it was a real struggle for her.
No, I liked that too, but it's one of those things where like your experiences build you. So like, who knows who you would have been? Mm-hmm. This is who you are, which is why I liked this as a young adult read. Like, because if somebody would have told me this in my 20s, I might not have had as many issues. Like, there's a lot of things when you're like, even when you're like 16 or 17 in high school, like, I just don't understand like why we aren't teaching our children better. Like, because this poor girl, like, she had no clue. She was just like, I got thrust into this and here I am trying to figure it out on my own. Mm-hmm. Where like there's plenty of support system that we just aren't like utilizing.
Well, because if you think about it, Nan got, I mean, she's been living on her own for years at this point, because Nan got, I think it was before she found out she was a witch. So she had to be like at probably 15 at the oldest.
Yeah, I was
when
thinking
this was
that
going
too.
on.
But that still seems like a real hard struggle bus for like to have to learn to be an adult and figure out what you're doing. But she comes out really strong in it though, which is nice. Mm-hmm. And it's also one of those things where it's like empowering to women if you think about it. Like she like, you know, she doesn't choose the easier brother just because he's easier.
Yeah. She does for a moment.
No disrespect for those people that do, because I'm 100% that girl that's like, well, you know.
Although if Alex hadn't been killed, would she have just ran off with Alex? And how long would she have stayed away? Because when she ends up, when we're in Rebel Witch and she's off the continent or off the island, she's like, I have to go back. I can't. She's like, I didn't realize that was my home until I was gone.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd wondered that too, but that's the fun part about books, right? You get an ending.
Yeah,
you don't
really.
It's not like, and then death do you part. I don't know. I don't know. It crossed my mind, but it's an interesting thought.
Yeah. Did you like Heartless Hunter or Rebel Witch more?
I think I liked Rebel Witch more.
Me too. I think the Heartless Hunter set up the cat and mouse. Like, we needed those moments where them. I've noticed this with my book too, because I'm planning a trilogy. Hopefully it's not going to be more than 3. The more stuff I add to it, I'm like, fuck, is this going to be more? But
you just got to like make the books thicker.
Yeah. Oh, it's going to be thicker.
Thicker.
I started, my first draft was 91,091 words. And I still have, I mean, you can see sitting on my desk how much I have left of that book, probably like a sixth or seventh of that book. And I'm at 92,000 words.
I think it's amazing. I'm excited for your book. I haven't read a whole lot of it, but that's nothing to do with Katie. My life is very busy, and sitting down and reading is
it's okay. I'm going to give
literally mind melting for me.
When I
fall
finish
asleep
it,
because I'm like, I sat still.
When I finish the book, I'll give you like a month and a half to just read it.
I was thinking about it yesterday. I was like, okay, cool. I'm going on a trip where I'm going to be on a plane where nobody's going to be like, I'm going to have to literally focus on something. I will just read that book at that point.
Perfect.
Because there's nothing else to do on a plane other than sit. Which, who knows? I might fall asleep and not wake up. I haven't slept in days. I'm going to be like,
sleep.
Yeah, I don't know. But it'll be early enough in the morning, like an actual day flight, that it won't be like, those like 3 a.m. flights. It'll be like a daytime flight. Like, so it'll be fine. I'm excited, but I'm not excited. It's like I'm not a huge fan of travel.
No, me
for somebody that's always on the road, I don't like to travel. I'm always on the road.
I think you like being at the destination, but getting there is not. The journey is worth it. The destination person,
right? I'm like, and they're walking. There's a cow, and they're walking. I don't know. I think my problem is that like I love to travel, okay, but I haven't stopped. Like the last 5 years has been like, we're going, get your bags packed. Like, I'm just like, I have preset bags. Like that's how much I travel. I have bags that are pre-ready to go, that if you were like, Star, we're leaving tonight, I'd be like, let's go, bitches.
I'm like packed the night before,
the way. Like,
maybe the morning of. I can't.
No, I'm already like, I'm always pre-packed. I have everything ready to go. You have to literally be like on way, and I'll be like, ready.
Yeah.
At the door, 15 minutes. Like, cool. Already packed. Like, my son thinks I'm weird because I have like shit pre-packed. But I tried to explain to him, part of it is like, I don't know, let's say something horrific happens, like a flood is happening and you need to get out immediately. You have to get your animals and all your shit. You have to have pre-packed bags.
Well,
where
you live, you need to like have
Right?
evacuation stuff ready.
Ready.
But so maybe you do need just like a trip where it takes you 7 days on a boat to get somewhere. So you just have to stop.
Fuck that. I saw a whale.
You need to.
No, actually, her traveling did not bother me.
Yeah.
I don't know why, because every other book I'm like, and they're fucking walking again, Katie. Katie, why are they walking again?
Well, because so if we think about it in Rebel Witch, when she's traveling on the Arcadia, she's like looking in the cargo hold. She's got the interactions with Gideon's friends. Like there's something going on constantly, and you have the back and forth. There was only one bed in the cabin that she has with Gideon, and
I love the one bed thing. Every time the one bed, I'm always like, ooh, what are you gonna do? Actually, super off topic. We were supposed to go on Airbnb. And there was only one bed, and it was a twin, and we were discussing it. And I was like, do we fit in a one-bed twin? And this is another female. So this is like a totally good friend, not anybody that's actually somebody that I'm sleeping with. So we were discussing, like, do we big spoon, little spoon it? Does somebody sleep on the floor? Like, what do you do? This is a question for everybody out there. What do you do in a one-bed situation? Now, mind you, doesn't have to be a lover. It can be a friend. It could be a grandmother. It could be your mother. Do you big spoon, little spoon? Does somebody sleep on the floor? Do you pray there's a couch in the room?
My ex-boyfriend, who was 4 years older than me, had a twin-size bed when we started dating.
I love it. I was telling my friend, I was like, you can still fit in a twin. I was like, there's no reason why not. And then my friend was like, no, but the problem with twins is that like you big spoon, little spoon it. And I was like, yeah. So you just big spoon, little spoon it. Which spoon are you?
It depends on the size of the humans too, because again,
my son's father's a big man. Like he's in like, pretty decent height with like, some build on his stock. Like I like those big boys. We can fit in a twin just fine. And I don't look like a twig. So
my problem is, and this is why my husband and I are such good matches, don't fucking touch me while we're
sleeping.
My friend said.
My friend was like, I can't be touched. And so every time they do the one bed situation, I'm always fucking dying because who cares? Like, I guess I don't sleep 4 to 6 hours.
You don't sleep.
Stars like, we got this the rest of the year. And if I'm traveling, this is probably why I'm fucking tired of traveling. If I'm traveling, 2 maybe 3 hours of sleep is it. I'm usually the friend that's like creeping out in the middle of the fucking night. I would have been worse than Rune. Like Rune makes me look fucking normal. I would be creeping out in the middle of the night with my running shoes on. And one of my girlfriends was like, where the fuck are you going? It is still dark outside.
See, that's why
I'm going to go running. I've never seen this gorgeous ass town. I'm going to go run 8 to 12 miles and see the town. And then my friend's like, we can drive. There's an automobile. And I'm just like, hell no. Why would I take an automobile when my 2 feet can do it? And I love to watch the sunrise on vacation. So I'm that crazy broad that's up while like the fishermen are still getting on their boats. Okay.
It's like you need Ghost Walker to be able to sneak by your friends to get out. You just like paint it on your skin and run out.
That's one of the things I loved about her. She could like transform and shit. Yeah. I don't know. Like it's funny as hell. When she was on the train and she was like shifting her stuff to like look different. I was thinking when she was doing it, I was thinking like, who would you pick like in that sense? Like if you got to like shift, like, because like I'm sure like my friends would love for me to like shift to ghost mode. You can't see me slipping out in the middle of the night. Like my son just sleeps through everything. He's fucking dead to the world. He's like, mom left again. Hopefully she comes home today. So I was thinking about that. I was like, it would be nice. My friends would be like, yes, let that girl get the hell out. Like, maybe we can make her footsteps less like daunting. She's like trying to sneak out and she's on her tippy toe going bam, bam, bam on the way out.
And that was something I liked about, because we talked about the different magic levels, but like the hindrance that she had from using old blood was that she couldn't cast as powerful things. So like she could cast Ghost Walker, which was her like thing she made up, which would only make you, if they looked in your direction, would force them to look away so they wouldn't see you.
Yeah. My friends would love that.
But if they were looking for you, they would have been like, Star, you're right there.
They would have loved it though. They'd have been like, yes, we can't see that horrible broad. She's always in the goddamn way.
Maybe they would just pretend. They're like, oh, she cast a Ghost Walker again. I guess we'll turn your head away.
Like, oops, we didn't see you. Good job, I'm sneaking out this morning.
But we see Ghostwalker be a problem for her on a few times. So the first one is in Heartless Hunter when she goes into that mine that only Gideon told her where that was going on. It was like a fake thing that Seraphine was in this old mine and that's where they were going to take her from. She shows up as a Crimson Moth. Also fucking smart on Rune to go to her blabby friends at brunch and be like, oh, they're holding a witch at the mine. So then everyone that was at the brunch is like, they're holding a witch at the mine. And then because Gideon's like, Rune's the Moth. I just know it. So this was
that's what I loved about the story too, because he kept he was positive. He was like, I know she is. How do I prove it?
And then Rune would outsmart him in some way.
All the time. But women are just smarter than men.
But Gideon would also like that. And then they go into Heartless Hunter. They finish with the big betrayal between them after they sleep together. And then he's trying to make up for it. And then he gets some more intel that she's actually a witch and has, the proof of it now. And so then he sends her silk flowers that he made. Like, I thought that was so sweet that he was like sewing her flowers.
She thought it was sweet. I'm over here like the devil is in the flowers.
But he told that story about how Cressida, because Cressida killed their younger sister.
She's fucking psycho.
With the sweating sickness.
Yeah, the whole.
Cressida was a fucking maniac.
She was psycho.
But she basically told him, if you can make me 24 silk roses by tomorrow morning, then I will not hurt your sister like I did your mom. And he's like, do you know how long it took me to make the one rose I made you? And she's like, how long? And he's like, 2 hours. So he made 12 in a night, but he didn't make 24. And so then his sister was locked away with the sweating sickness and died. I thought the silk flowers kind of played a huge role in it. Like, it's kind of started out as like, oh, I'm going to do this nice thing. And I think part of him when he went to make the flower was like, I saw my dad do this for my mom, and I do kind of like this girl, so I guess I'll do this, because this is what you do when you're courting. But like making a silk flower that takes 2 hours to do is beyond what would be like a normal like fake dating scenario. I feel like
we read a lot of fake dating scenarios.
We read a lot of fake dating scenarios.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I wouldn't make a fucking it's not my style. I'm like, here's a dirt pile. Here's a dirt pile cake. What do you call those? A mud pie.
Mud pie. Here's a mud pie. Eat it. But I like.
Especially for fake dating. I'm not putting any effort into this. I don't even put effort into real dating. This is probably my problem.
No,
it's
but
too much goddamn effort.
Thought there was kind of a nice little point where Gideon, while he was falling for Rue, kind of had a reclamation of his tailoring skills.
Yeah.
Because it really, like, Cressida fucked him up in so many ways. He was her personal tailor and did all these horrible things to him, branded him so that he couldn't fall in love with someone else.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Love.
Oh my God.
But he didn't know that at the time. So she was like, I'll activate this later.
I don't remember how Rune figured that out.
So she in Rebel Witch, she escaped with the Sibyl, the witch that could like see into the future and stuff.
Yes.
So she escapes with her and her daughter, and Gideon helps her escape. She doesn't realize it at the time, but the Sibyl recognizes it and finds the box in the boat, because they take Alex's boat. She finds the box in the boat that has the old, I think it's Cascadia or something like that, or whatever the old kingdom used to be before it became the New Republic. It was a coin from the old kingdom on like a chain that he got for her, because he knew she had like an old map of the old kingdom and all that kind of stuff. So he knew how much it meant to her. And so the Sibyl like kicks her out of she goes to the boat. She's like, I'm gonna go get supplies or whatever. She like goes to the island where her fiance at the time is there, the prince or whatever that they're using to get an army for Cressida. And then the Sibyl's like tosses it, and she's like trying to get to the island, and the Sibyl tosses the box, and the ship starts going away, and she's like, what the fuck? She's like, I can't let you like make it so my daughter and I don't escape, because you're gonna turn around and go back to him. And she's like, what do you mean? And then she sees that, and she's like, oh fuck, Gideon actually cares about me. And I think she kind of recognizes that Gideon helped her escape.
Yeah.
And he gets arrested for that, and she doesn't know it at the time, but she's like, oh my God, he's going to get murdered for this. So she ends up going to the island, and she's like, I'm going to break into Cressida's room to get like a spell book or something. She needed to like learn something from Cressida. So then she ended up in Cressida's room, and she found a spell book that had the curse for true love, and she memorized the symbols on it so that he couldn't touch his true love. So, and Cressida activated it while she was Verity.
Yes.
As she saw that Rune and Gideon were actually going to be together at that point, that they were falling for each other.
Yeah. She was a sick bitch. Sick bitch. This bitch whipped her.
Yeah. Oh my, yeah. She flayed her open.
Yes. And that's when she used her blood.
She used her blood
to do the symbols because you had to have blood to do it. And so that's when she broke the curse. Was with the
it had to be sacrificed from a true love.
Yeah,
and so that was her blood sacrifice.
But she did it when she was whipping her. I don't remember why she was whipping her. Why am I like drawing a blank on? Because she caught her. But she caught her because she crawled through the windows. But how did they catch her? Because she tries to get back to the room and the room was locked on the inside.
So that was different. So Cressida found her in her quarters. So there were 2 times where she escaped. So the first time was when she was with
I
the
must be
prince.
Mixing up which time she escaped.
At the beginning of Rebel Witch, she that's when she like encounters Gideon and everything.
Yeah.
And she's like, I have to get him out of here. So she escapes the prince takes her up to his room and is like, oh, like, you'll be safe here, tries to like fuck her, and she's like, no, like, can you just get rid of him?
Yes, that was the part that I was.
So then she sneaks out to go help him get out, and then he helps her get back in. So that's the first time in Cressida sitting there like, I fucking know you did this.
Right,
like,
that's what I remember. That's why I was like confused. I was like, then she like whips her like violently.
Yeah,
though. Like,
she whips her violently after she returns to the island because she was supposed to she was basically going to sever her engagement, which made up the whole thing.
Yes.
Plus, Cressida at the time, she was going to full on kill her when she was whipping her. That
was the intent.
Yeah, until Seraphine came in. Not Seraphine. It might have been Seraphine or Juniper, one of the two, came in and said, she's the Roseblood heir. She's your sister.
Which I thought for some reason I thought she already knew that, but then I remember that scene and I was thinking like, because I thought that's why they kidnapped her to begin with. I thought they had an inkling that because they were looking for her.
So when they first took her, so at the end of Heartless Hunter, Rune starts playing another part where she's like, oh, my queen.
Yeah.
Help me, please.
No.
And she's having to deal with the fact that Verity's been like her good friend for so long, and now she's Cressida, who she knows all these horrible things about because of Gideon.
But Verita did a great job of playing.
She did. When she went to the I don't know that Verity was doing some weird shit, so I think I kind of clocked that something was weird about her, but I don't know that I totally clocked that she was Cressida.
I didn't.
And then,
which is surprising because usually I'm like, oh,
I might have, only because they were like, Cressida's back, and I'm like, how is Cressida back? Because Verity started doing weird shit, and then I was so mad listening to this again because like when I read these, I blew through them, and again it was like a year ago. So then listening to them in audiobook, I fell in love with the story even more again. But when Alex was like, I fired 3 shots in the air and didn't kill Cressida, I'm like, why would you not kill Cressida? Like, why? He's just like, I spared her. It's like, why would you spare her? She was doing these horrible things to your brother and then caused all these problems. So then when he gets killed, when he steps in front of Gideon to prevent him from getting killed by Cressida, I was just kind of like, oh, well, see ya, Alex. Like, I was
she's like, you deserved it. You should have killed her. I don't know. That's a hard one. Alex just didn't strike me as like a person to like kill anybody. Like he didn't. I guess
he was too soft, supposedly, but like because they always described it as Gideon was like, he had the dark hair, he was well built, he was tall. She was always like, he was at least a foot taller than me. He's 6 feet tall, and I'm like, that's not very tall, but like it's
tall if you're 5 foot. Like,
tall if you're 5 foot.
Katie's like, I'm just a giant.
My husband's 6 foot. He's still taller than me, and I view him as tall. But like when you're like in these books, they're always like, he was 6'7", like, and his biceps were the size of my head. You know, like,
oh my God.
That's like all of these. So when you have, and again, it's YA, so it's more appropriate that he's probably not. Like,
I think
8
6
feet tall.
foot is great.
No, 6 foot is great, and like in real life, I'm great with it. But I just thought it was funny to like see a character being like, he's just so big, and it's like he's 6 feet tall. Like it.
The author's over here like, I'm like 4 foot nothing. How dare you? 6 foot is a giant.
No, I mean 6 foot's still tall, but I just thought it was funny compared to like other book boyfriends, I guess.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't think about that.
But what was I gonna say? So in Rebel Witch, we get to see when this is a part that just I love when they're in the boiler room and he's just like, was any of it real? And she's just like, if you would have asked me to marry you, I would have done it immediately. And he's just like, oh, she actually does care about me.
Yes.
But
then doesn't he ask about Alex?
I think he's like, my brother was in love with you, and like Alex is dead at this point.
No, but it still hurts. Like it's still, she's over here like dead. No more Alex. Who gives a shit about Alex?
Who gives a shit about?
But like their feelings were still very intertwined with Alex. Like because remember he talks about like would it have been different?
It was
And,
still his brother and her best friend. Like 100%. They should be sad about it. And I remember what my train of thought was before I totally went off the rails there. So Gideon was like the tall, dark, and handsome, and Alex was like the lanky, long-fingered, blonde-haired musician. We all should have known he wished he wouldn't end up with Alex because he was blonde.
I'm sorry, I can't literally. Oh my god. Okay, so. The only problem I have is that whenever they do a magician, like they're like, "Oh, he played an instrument. He must have been so soft." I feel bad. Like some of those boys are like real good. Like every time you read a book, they always make them seem like they're so like.
Well, because I think
they're so soft because they were a poet, or they were more whimsical than they were like a beefy like army brood. Like I don't know. Like it's just mean. Like I'm sorry.
Well,
I just got off my old little tangent over here.
Well, it's like because Alex played the piano, so like long, thin fingers are better for the piano.
Those fucking fingers probably did wonders for the body. Okay, they can reach parts that other people couldn't reach. Like, how dare we always assume that the artist has to be the flimsy one? He could have been the best one of them all. Like, shit, just because Gideon was beefy doesn't mean he was good at anything. Oh my god, these fucking people, I have short, stubby fingers, so my ass is over here. Like, how dare you? I can't play the piano. They were like, you were not built for this.
So we have 2 bowling alleys that are like in town or whatever. Actually, I don't know if the second one's still open, but there's like a really old one, and then like
the second one is not still open. I was like, we have 2 bowling alleys. Shit, that's cool. So we did used to have 2 bowling alleys. We used to have
2 bowling alleys, but there was like the old one, and then like the one with
the
like
new shiny shit frills. Yeah,
and I had when I was dating a guy in high school, he was like, we got to go to the old one because it's cheaper.
The old one is way better though. It used to be.
Well, okay, here's my problem. The balls at the old one, the holes were drilled too far apart, and even on the lightest ball, I couldn't hold it because my fingers couldn't spread far enough to hold it properly.
Such problems. My son would be offended right now. He'd be like, look, lady.
So Gideon wouldn't have that problem. He was bowling.
Oh my god, the stretch on that, the reach. My brain went into the gutter right now, girls. I'm just letting you know. Anyway, that's watching this, I literally went into the gutter. My brain was like, he can reach all the way up and hit the back of my throat.
This is YA. I'm trying not to because this is YA. However, they are adults, so.
Are they
whatever?
This is stars back to he's 12. Like
he's 12.
He was an adult in the book, but he was 12.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I still like that was why I think it surprised me is because I don't think that their ages, other than Rune saying he's 2 years older than me and 2 years ago she was 16, there was no indication of like specifically like I am 18. I am actually an adult. So when I was reading it, I was like, am I reading like a full page sex scene on like a 17-year-old? Like I feel kind of weird about this.
So the crazy part of the story is when you're reading it, other than the fact that you told me it was YA and we were discussing it, and
I think they say fuck a few times
they
too.
do. So I was like, you could 100% not have made this YA and I still would have read it.
Yeah.
Because I did not know any different. Other than you gave me the pretense it was, and then we looked up the H's. Otherwise, I read it as if like it was too grown accentuating.
Consensual.
Yeah, thank you. But I realized I said the wrong word. Was like, yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
And yeah, I definitely loved it.
I really liked, beyond the fact that they were, witch hunter and witch, they had other things. So they had their feelings they were battling, the fact that society wouldn't want them together, the fact that both of them would get killed if they actually kind of formed an alliance together.
Yes.
And then they also had Cressida's curse on top of it. And so, again, Rune found that out, drew the symbols, and when she did that, she not only fixed the curse, but she reversed it. So Cressida couldn't hurt him.
Yes.
So
I have to tell you my favorite part of the story.
Yes.
When she gets on the train and she looks in the mirror and she starts to falter, like her I don't know what you call it. I don't want to say mask because it's not the right word.
So in with magic doesn't work on reflection. So she's looking at the
but I can't remember what it is that she actually does to like change her what is that called? My brain's not using.
I don't remember what the actual spell was,
so
but she like transformed her.
Yeah, so she doesn't look like herself to the rest of the world sees somebody different. So she looks at herself in the mirror or in the glass to look out the train, and then she sees like a premonition. but we're not sure it's a premonition.
Yeah.
So, but my brain was like, oh my God, yes, like they need to like get back off the train, get off the train. But he's trying to get her on the fucking train and get the train moving, and she's trying to run off the train. This is like every love story ever. But my brain was like, yes, get off the train, girl, get off the train.
You are also a sucker for any time someone's gonna have kids together.
I fucking am. I'm a hardcore sucker for this. So I'm like, oh my God, the babies. Like, I am the white picket fence broad, okay? I am the chick with like the 8 kids and the husband and the picket fence around. Like, yeah, no, I am so like... I was fully fucking ready for it. I was like, yes, have those babies. Get off the train.
I thought it was interesting, though, that we went all of Heartless Hunter not knowing other than like that there were levels of casting for witches and you needed different kinds of blood for it. We didn't know anything else outside of like what witches were like until the next one where they're like, we have a Sybil in our custody. And I was like, what? Like what how do we know what a Sybil is now? Like
I forgot about
so that kind of threw me. And then when she has that first premonition is when they're getting shot at in the house when they go to save the Sybil's daughter.
Yeah.
And she sees, I think that's when she sees the children or whatever. But then she was looking in her reflection and she's like, those kids don't just look like Gideon. They look like me too.
That was 100% when I thought, if you wanted a cry moment, that was like, I was so close to it. I was like, I was sitting there going, I got to stop what I'm doing. Holy shit. Oh my God. Yes. Yes. Because as she's like, okay, so I'm not going to lie. At first I was a little concerned when she was like, and there's somebody else that looks like me. And I was so fucking confused. I was like, God damn it. Is she like... at first I thought like she had more siblings, like herself, like because we don't really know her backstory. So I thought, oh crap, she has more siblings. Like she's not just a half sister to these horrible fucking people, right? And then when they start describing the children, heartbreak moment. I'm 100% should have been a mother. Like I was like, oh my God, babies, and they look like them. Like I was, that was my breaking point. Like not when anything else happens in the book, but when she's having babies. If she would have birthed children, I would have been like, that's my girl.
I think it was a really special moment too because Rune has been struggling with, because she has spent a lot, she loves being pretty. Yes. She spent a lot of her time like, she played up the role of like being this like airhead. Yeah. But she does love fashion. She does feel like she likes getting dressed up and like liking how she looks. And so after Cressida whips her, she feels like she's like disgusting and wrecked. And so, which it happens all the time in these books, and I mean, they're like, I'm not
scars on your back.
I'm not pretty anymore, and it's like,
so she won't still cute, like nobody
she won't
knows.
let Gideon see until she goes. She ends up in that waterfall, and that's when Gideon sees her at her lowest. Because Gideon's fully like, I accept you. You are who I'm going to be with at this point. And Rune's like, I love him, but I can't stay here. I can't go through this because if I get kidnapped by her again, if I get captured, she's going to hurt me again, and I can't do it. Like, she's like, I'm not made for this kind of thing. And she knows that Gideon went through all that too and is still choosing to go into it. So she feels a bit of shame as well because Gideon spent years getting tortured by Cressida, and she's like, it happened to me one time and I can't handle this, and I can't be here. So when he finds her at the waterfall and sees the scars on her back, he like fully accepts her. Like he does that thing where they like kiss the scars, and I'm like, yes. It's like replace it with a happy memory type situation.
Not my favorite.
I love when they kiss scars, or it just when they see it and they're like, who did this to you? I think he says who did this to you or who hurt you. Yeah. And I just love those moments in books. But you really see Gideon is fully grasping, like, you are it for me, and I will support you in whatever you need to do. And she's like, run away with me. And he's like, I can't do that. He's like, I love you, but I can't do this. And so that was also heartbreaking, is that like she finally, she's dealing so much with her self-identity, and now her physical appearance has changed too. And now she's on the train and she has that experience, and she sees
20,
Gideon.
Her physical, like,
she's 18.
She's 18.
Yeah, like she's got so much time.
Even worse. Wait till you get wrinkles. Wait until you get laugh lines, and you're like, how dare you? I smiled too much in my fucking 20s, and now I get laugh lines. I don't know. I guess, like, I don't know. I can't say shit. I was caught up in my 20s, you know.
Yeah,
but you know, you have kids and your body changes. I hate the fucking kissing the scars. That's not
I love kissing the scars.
Just because to me it's like, okay, it doesn't, in my brain, it doesn't fix anything. Like, they're still there. Like,
no, it doesn't. But I think
it doesn't make the pain of it.
I think the idea is that if you can take something that caused pain at some point for them and replace it with something,
I get that feels idea. Better. Does it really work in the psyche?
I don't know.
Probably
in
not.
the books it says it does.
In the book it does. The book that ends very happily.
She gets off that train, and the funny thing is she like, because Gideon's like, oh fuck, the hounds are here, like I gotta figure out something, and she's like watching out the window, and she's like having this moment. She sees Gideon, and she's like, damn it, and she like sees the like they're drawing guns on him, and she's like, fuck, I have to get off this train. So she gets off. She's like, what are you doing? And he's like, come on, we gotta leave. And so they run off, and that's when they get on the second train. And that was when because like the first sex scene that we get in Heartless Hunter, it's more on page than I expected for YA, but it's not what happens in Rebel Witch, where he's like, my fingers were inside me and I clenched around him.
I wouldn't remember when I read that, and I was like, holy, the hell is happening right now? Yeah, I don't know, but she's older too, so I guess it like
no, it's fine. I just like I said,
a little better.
As I've been researching the process of writing a book, it's interesting to find out like, 'cause there's like children's, middle grade, and then YA is such a big category. There's YA and then there's upper YA, and a lot of it depends on not just like the content but the character ages as well, because then the content ages up along with the characters, which is why we also have a newer category in adult, which is new adult, which is like the early 20s that we're seeing, and that's where the resurgence is happening with like Fourth Wing's a fantastic example of like a new adult romance, that novel, whereas like an adult romance is going to be probably like an Elsie Silver where they're in their 30s. So
it's hard to like, because in my 20s I was reading like an Elsie Silver, like in my 20s, and it was like, all right, this is cool, but he's like so like, you know, I guess when you're 20 you're like, that's an old ass man, like, you know what I mean?
I think that's like, where
but when you're in your 40s you're like, damn, he's too young for me, like, get it, girl, like I don't know. And so sometimes you just feel I kind of get like, but you don't have to age people. Like you can, well, that's not true. I read a book, The Silver Fox, and I'll tell you what, you can age anybody in that book. Oh my God. But yeah, I guess like, I don't know. It's hard for me because like even reading these ones until we actually looked at their age, it didn't occur to me. If you don't give me an age, I will definitely picture them my age and be like, yeah, or at least
I always
at
picture
least like in their mid 20s.
I picture like early to mid 20s, like 23, 24, 25 is kind of like where I picture the sweet spot of characters, and then I start feeling really old when I'm like, oh, I'm almost 30.
Yeah.
And then but then now that I'm almost 30, I'm like, ooh, 38-year-old like in these like problematic summer romance. I'm like, okay, Connor Harkness, like that's like it's weird to see how your tastes change and stuff, because like right now I'm still in my 20s. I got 1 year, like 6 months left. But it's weird to be like, oh, I still relate to these like 23-year-olds. But then like they do things and I'm like, man, I'm old now. I've got a kid. Like I'm married.
Okay,
and
so
like,
even in your 40s, there's shit that like 20-year-olds do that you're like, oh yeah, I did that. Like, oh no, like there's something in your brain that doesn't realize that you're the age you are until you go to like jump out of a car and your ankle goes and you're like, oh shit, I'm an old lady. My ankle just broke. Yeah, like you definitely mentally. So like even reading like these books this one didn't put me into the character as much. Mm-hmm. It didn't have that like resonating moment where I was like, oh my God, I'm rude. But I enjoyed it so much that it didn't even bother me that I like didn't fit the character. Like in some of the other books where you're reading it and you're like, oh my God, I'm so like, that's totally me. In this one though, you were so engulfed in the world. You weren't like, you were like, oh, and what is she doing? And oh, and this is witch, and that's a half sister. Like, I don't know. It was just a different.
Yeah. And I liked that it was easy to dive into. So you were still in this fantasy realm, but it wasn't like you weren't having to learn it while you were in it, you know,
you're building the fucking world.
Yeah, you don't spend the first book is really like developing that romance, but we still get a ton of Crimson Moth and Captain the Bloodguard stuff going on.
I have no idea why we haven't done Throne of Glass, but Throne of Glass does a lot of world building, and she thinks she has 2 fucking books that are world building because you have to keep fucking building the world because that's how big it is. Like you have to, with that, I'm gonna fucking bitch about it. But when you put this goddamn like the world together, I swear to God, you have to map that one out.
You do.
This one, you are fully aware of what's happening and where you are the whole time. And you don't have a fucking map where you're like, okay, we're over here now. Well, we moved over here. Okay, shit, where did we go next? Oh, we're down here. And you don't have to do that. You're not on 8 different continents trying to figure out who the fuck did what.
Yeah, and we only have 2 POVs. Like we're very narrow in our spec in that way. Oh, here's a good question. If you were a witch And
I feel like I am a witch.
Since you're a witch, if the purgings were not going to happen, what would you make your casting scars look like?
Oh, okay. I think stars. And no, don't fucking make fun of me. Star is not the name that I go by anywhere else other than on fucking the real world. All my family calls me something completely different, but I've always liked stars since like I can remember. Like, if my name wasn't Star, I would still fucking love stars. Like, I have a star belt. I had star shoes. I wore a star fucking dress to prom. I love stars. 100% stars all over. I wanted star tattooed on my fucking back, but whoever did my fucking tattoo fucked me up. And so the tattoos, you can't tell they're fucking stars.
Oh,
They're like weird little blob looking fucking shapes. Like, I super need to get your sister to touch me
I was
up.
gonna say, have my
but
sister touch
it's so
it up for you.
fucked up. Like, so I'm just scared because of how bad that fucking experience was. But stars, 100%. All over my fucking body. No hesitation. Face to toes. And I'm hardcore not that person. But they're cute fucking like silvery lines that are just gorgeous. And you could probably like interconnect them with like little like swoops and stuff. 100% stars. What's yours?
I would also do stars and moons. Because I literally...
Oh, I didn't even think about moons. Look at you. Oh.
I literally
like a crescent moon would be fucking cool as shit.
Like, I don't know if you can see. I've got like a million stars on here.
Yeah.
I've got all these stars here.
Yeah.
I will put a star in a fucking tattoo. I guess that's kind of the nice thing about tattoos is like these are like my casting scars. But I will put a star and moon on anything. I
actually, one of the things I want to do is get a star moon tattoo like on my wrist. I was thinking about having your sister do it. I'm just so fucking paranoid about how bad my back turned out that I'm gonna get fucked up.
You've seen all of them
I've seen the cool like the glitter. I think it's on this one where she put the glitter in it. I really fucking want that in like on a tattoo. Like have the moon and the star glittery. 100%.
So shout out to Gremlin Magic Tattoo.
I thought
Check
about
my
that,
sister
and then I
out.
was like, your sister might kill us. Like
no, drive business to them. Okay, drive up to they're opening a new place very soon, and
soon.
Please go get tattooed by my sister. I have so many tattoos by them, but I'm working on planning. I haven't really talked. I'm planning in my head. I've talked to them a little bit, but they haven't done anything on. I'm gonna get a big thigh piece that goes like all the way up to my hip. That's just celestial.
That'd be kind of freaking cool. Yeah.
But
I did really love the tattoos. I guess I don't know what the hell they would be called. The
casting
scars on her are moths, and I don't know why, but I picture them as beautiful butterflies, which is probably really weird. But that's how I pictured them because moths are really fucking ugly.
Well, yeah. I mean, they could be pretty, I guess.
No, but I pictured it like more like this, but in my brain, this is more like a butterfly.
Yeah, because that looks like a dragonfly almost.
Yeah, that's kind of right. But that's actually what moths look like. The author who did the artwork, that's actually what moths look like. I get huge ones up on my house that look like this, not so pretty and intertwined.
Yeah,
big moths. But for the yous that can't see, if you're on Spotify, they're just really like designed well, integrated with like jewels and stuff on them, which is really cool. But on her, I just pictured like a very faint silver outline because that's kind of like what it is. Like it kind of is this beautiful silvery like kind of outline, and I just picture them kind of more butterflies. Maybe not so designed as a butterfly, but less of like a moth in the sense that it's just like a wing. Yeah. Like I pictured like maybe a double wing, like where one wing's a little bigger and then a little smaller, but like more like if a 8-year-old drew it, not like, you know what I mean? You know how 8-year-olds are like, I drew a heart and it's like the shape of like a 2-piece heart. Like, you know what I mean? Like 2 C's together makes a heart. Kind of like that, but with like, so like a very light design that doesn't, I just pictured it being very, I mean, obviously we don't know what it looks like, but how your brain.
So the other thing, a lot of the like aristocratic witches, like the Rosebloods specifically, because they were the queens, had that one girl who would do the casting scars for them because they were like an artist.
Yeah.
So I was thinking that one, I think she ended up being a witch too. But if there were like human artisans, like or non-witch artisans that were like a part of this, if they got killed afterwards, because there were a bunch of people that got killed for being witch sympathizers, but then other people that weren't. Like, I mean, Gideon obviously would have been like a witch sympathizer before he helped storm the castle and kill them, you know?
Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't think about that.
But like, how many of those artisans are out there?
I would have been okay to die for the witches, 100%. 100%.
I don't know if we were living under the witches. I don't know if I would have been.
I think that, well, not those scary fucking bitches, but.
Yeah, but like Rune, fine.
Yeah, because I hate to say it, but I truly am a strong believer, and I'm a strong believer that like we have witch blood in my family. So like I think like if you look back in like the history, we would have been, I can't think of how to say that word. Is it civil?
Sybil.
Yeah, we would have been civil because we actually, my great grandmother used to have premonitions, and sometimes I get them, and they're actually accurate. They're like true, real, like. And I'm a strong believer at love at first sight. I have met people where I'm like, you ever stars always with the goddamn Disney movies. This one I actually think is a not Disney, the other one, DreamWorks, where he like zings her.
Oh, yeah, Hotel Transylvania.
Yeah, but I don't think that one's a Disney.
No, it's not.
Where he zings her. I'm 100% been that person where like when I met my husband, we zinged. So I think that there's got to be some like something to it. I think we just, as we get busy in like the world of life, we just forget to like sit and listen to like, I think the earth is always talking to us. I think that's where God is always talking to us. So there's always something talking to us and we're just not listening.
Yeah.
We're just too busy reading books and keeping fantasies.
Because if I read my books, I don't have to think about what's going on outside the world while everything's burning down.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know. I loved this book. Rebel Witch, I told you it made me cry the first time when she died. Because Gideon, the reason why it makes me cry, and it's because I'm just a sappy romance girl, is because Gideon's like, she's dying and he says, I love you. And it's the first time he says it to her.
This made Katie cry. I was over there like, Katie, really? Get over yourself.
I was like, ah.
Cares.
And it hit me so much harder in the audiobook. I was like, I know she's going to die. It's fine. She gets resurrected. But like, when Gideon's like, I love you, and he's sitting in his head like, I wish I would have told her when I could have, because she tells him multiple times that she loves him. Point blank, I love you. And he never says it back to her until that moment when she's dying. And he says, I love you, Rune. And then she's dead. And he's like, I wish I would have spent my life telling her that I loved her, because now I can't anymore.
Only men regret shit like that.
I think a woman would also regret that. I don't think that's like a gender-specific situation.
Not me.
It's a star-specific situation.
Fucking, you're on the ground. I'm just kicking you. Get the fuck up.
You're
Got
fine.
bills to pay, motherfucker. Yeah, I don't know.
It's Bart, and then what's his name that he was with, like his boyfriend? I don't remember. The ones that they run away to that cabin and they're like hiding there, and it's the boyfriend is like, oh, I'm from the Healers or whatever. And I was like, what? And then he's like, I know magic. And you're like, what? And so then when she gets to be resurrected, that's when Seraphine is like, she goes to kill Cressida and raise Rune at the same time. And that was when we found out that Rune had reversed everything so that Cressida couldn't hurt him. So she's just like hammering bolts at him.
Yeah.
She's making a cyclone and like throwing water at him. He's just standing there like, you know. And
if you couldn't see that, Katie flipped them off.
And so he's like walking up to her and he's killing her. I think he's strangling her, and Seraphine's like, wait, let me do it. And so then Seraphine gets down and they do the magic with the boyfriend who had healer magic and all this. I don't know what. I don't quite
know.
understand
it got
what's
kind
going
of
on
weird
with
towards
him.
the end. They had to figure out a way to like make her come back to life.
Yeah.
They were just like, and she's alive.
I was like, granted, the whole resurrection spell thing, like something had to be going on with it, I guess. So I don't know, but they resurrect her, and then we find out Seraphine's one of the ancients. She's wisdom, because they had the ancients that it was like wisdom.
Yeah,
and
yeah. I just was thinking, like, if you got to pick, like, what would you pick? Would you pick wisdom? Would you pick like visions? Like, what would witches are weird. Like, what would you like?
Well, but
and
she
even you could
wasn't
pick
a
outside
witch.
of the realm too. Like, it wouldn't have to be
like if I had a special power.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I don't know what I would have.
See, that's one of those fun questions. Like when you ask like a kid this, they got like every
like,
fucking
would
answer.
you
I would
rather
fly.
fly?
I would do.
Yeah,
like,
I don't know what
adults are like. I would like my bills paid.
Yeah, honestly. I would probably just want to teleport. Like I'd want to winnow.
See, she's over here like I'm the one that travels all the time, and I didn't even cross
I would
my
travel
mind.
more if I didn't have to
Cross my
deal with
mind.
all of the crap that came with traveling. Because if I didn't have to worry about if I lost something or if I forgot something, I could just like pop back to my house and like pop back in.
Oh, God.
Like I would totally do that. If I could
That's funny.
teleport, absolutely, I would be all over the place.
You and I are funny because I would just, if I forgot something, I'd just buy it at the fucking store.
I would too, but then I spend so much. I have undiagnosed anxiety, Star. I spend so much time stressed out about stuff.
So do I, which is why I'm pre-packed to fucking leave immediately.
But I can't because I get too anxious about packing and then I don't pack.
No, this is why you have pre-packed bags.
Oh God.
And you don't ever get anxious that your shit's not packed. You always have like toothbrushes and all that shit's already clean.
That's
Underwear is already in a fucking bag. You
Yeah.
just go. You don't have to think about it.
That's
I
smart.
have hardcore anxiety. This is the chick that's like literally packed the night before and packed. Like if we're leaving at 11 o'clock in the morning, I am at the bed at 6 o'clock in the morning. Like
You have anxiety that prepares you though, and I have anxiety that freezes me. I'm just like, nope, I can't do it. Like if my house gets too dirty, I just stare at it and I'm like, I can't do it.
Oh no. If my house gets dirty, I'm fucking like, meh. I'm like, this is trash now.
I have like one of two modes. I'm like, oh, it's dirty, I'm gonna clean this, and I just go like absolute balls to the wall cleaning. And then I walk in. There's other times where I walk into my kitchen, I'm like, I'm gonna cry. I don't know what to do. I'm gonna cry, and then I just like leave because I can't handle it. And then Kenny comes home and he's like, well, what's going on? And I'm like, the kitchen's too dirty. I can't do it. And he's like, okay, I'll go start cleaning up the kitchen
every day, probably twice a day.
I clean up the kitchen.
My kitchen never gets dirty because I don't let it get dirty.
Yeah, I try not
makes
to,
me
but
wash.
the 2-year-old makes it hard.
That's true.
Because she won't let me put the dishes away. She's always trying to grab knives. She's like, there's always like something bad going on. And I'm just like, you know what? Fine. We just won't do this. So then that like adds an extra level of stress to it. But
since we got off topic for the millionth time tonight.
Oh my God, this is such a bad
I do have a question. I was thinking about this earlier. We have not rated books yet.
Oh,
are we going to start rating books?
We
should. Like at the end of our podcast? Like, are we going to be like, we rated this a 3?
Oh, we should.
No, I actually did not rate this a 3. I actually have to say, for a YA, I would 100% rate this as a 5. I enjoyed it. It did not make me fucking pissed off. I did not scream to Katie every 10 minutes, and they're fucking walking again.
The only time you did scream is that you came up to me and she said, she fucking died.
Okay. So I got to she fucking died, and I thought it was the end of the book because I had looked down at like, I don't know, at some point in the night and realized that it was like, I thought like 5-10 minutes left.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it felt like a fucking eternity. And then she died. And so I thought that was the end of the book. I thought for sure I was fucking livid. She could have made this a fucking trilogy. She fucking killed her off in the last book. No wonder why this bullshit. And then
I'm sitting there
finished
listening.
the book.
Yeah. I was sitting there listening to it. Like it's like 2 pages in the physical copy that she's dead. So I'm just sitting there like, yep, she died.
I should have known when you were just like, sure, buddy. Like, good job. Yeah. I was livid. I had so much going on that night, though, that I was just so fucking busy that I didn't realize it. And I'm in the back room, like, shuffling boxes or something. And was like, that bitch came back to life. Like, I was like, God damn it, Katie. Yeah. So
I like how all of this is my fault.
because I knew you read it before me, so I was like, how do you not prepare me? Even my son's like, you want spoiler alerts? I'm like, hell yeah, I want to know. Like, I want to know already. I'm gonna finish the damn story. I'm that bitch that goes to the end of the book. I've never done it, but I 100%
hate that.
I want to go to the end of the book and be like, okay, this is what I'm getting to. Okay, let's go to the story. Like, I don't like the fucking. Okay, talk about anxiety. I don't like the fucking surprises. That shit gives me anxiety.
I can't wait for you to read my book.
I need to know like what is happening when it's happening. I need to know like she's gonna live. She's not gonna live. Like I don't know. I 100% need that. Like I need it.
Yeah. So I did rate both of these 5 stars when I read them the first time, and I still would rate them 5 stars in the audiobook. The audiobook, I don't know what it is. I think it's probably just the narrator's doing such a good job. But I usually am like, oh, I like this book better now after I audiobook things. So, but I still loved this. I love Rune and Gideon. I love their dynamic. I think the one weird thing I thought was that, so Noah Creed ends up taking over after the good commander gets killed, who's his son. So I was wondering the political dynamics of everything, because the New Republic came in. They have the good commander who's over everything. And then the good commander dies and they're like, oh, his son's going to run it. And I'm like, was he the most qualified to be the next good commander? Like, I felt like Gideon, other than the fact that he was like betraying all of them by being like a witch sympathizer at that point, Gideon would have been the right choice. Because
I was trying to figure out like their whole hierarchy thing didn't really make sense to begin with, though, because Gideon was doing like all kinds of things that didn't make sense. So
yeah, Gideon was the Blood Guard captain, which made him like kind of the general of the forces. It seemed like.
That's what I mean. Like it didn't.
And then
because you could have like special ops that wouldn't be a commander.
And then the good commander was the one who like pulled him out of the laudanum and alcohol-induced stupor he was in and got him into the rebel group that they were forming to fight and go take over, go kill the Rosebloods. And so when Noah takes over and he actively is like, fuck you, Gideon, I hate you because my dad loved you more than me. And I'm like, well, why are you even in this position? Like, I didn't understand it. And Layla, his sister, is like, I don't know why he's in this position. Like, you can tell she's just like, I don't want to take like orders from my brother. He's such an idiot. And she actively defies him like almost instantaneously when Gideon shows back up.
That's too funny.
But the other thing I thought was interesting, so all of their magic has a specific scent. Not only do they have their casting signatures, but they also have the specific scent. I thought Cressida's was a little on the nose. She smells like blood and roses.
I mean, it's a YA. She couldn't get too freaking dark
into it. What do the other
it.
sisters smell like when they cast, though? Because they're also rosebloods.
Pee. I don't know. Like, what a weird, like, I don't know. I didn't think about it,
well,
all right? I'm just letting you guys know I did not think about this.
Well, Rune smells
she
like
said that, and I was like, I don't know. Like, it didn't occur to me to have a thought on that. Like, I genuinely was just like, yeah, it just, that's what I thought it would smell like. So when you asked that question, I was like, I don't know.
Because
like,
Rune,
what's another weird smell?
Well, because Gideon always
bodily
talks
function. Like,
no, Gideon always talks about how he knows what the smell of magic is. So he would know if Rune was casting. But Rune did cast around him multiple times, and he always thought she smelled like the sea because she had like a salty, briny scent to her because she lived off the coast.
To lick her skin. I don't know.
He did.
I don't know.
But I thought that was like interesting that not only like the magic was very unique to each witch, and then the casting signatures, it seemed like just were like inherent to them. Like they didn't create them, because I feel like if they created them, they would have never done it because it gave them away when they casted. I guess, which didn't matter in the first place when they were witches.
She's bored with it.
Well, if they did choose their casting signatures, she would have changed it from a Crimson Moth. She would not have just kept casting a Crimson Moth all the time. So that had to be just something that, like, when her magic formed, it created that on its own. And then left, like, the fact that they just left evidence is like, oh, damn it, there's a moth floating above me. Okay, bye, I gotta go.
Yeah, I don't know.
So, yeah, anyways.
Katie's over here asking questions I didn't think about.
I'm like, what?
It just made sense to me. Like, now that you've asked, I'm like, I'm over here pondering. I'm like, I don't know. Like, it didn't, in the story, I was 100% like, yes, this is great. I enjoyed it. I did not.
Because Verity, drowned herself in perfume all the time because she was constantly using magic to make herself Verity. So Cressida smelled like roses when she casted, and so she knew she had to cover that up. So every time anyone's around Verity, she's like, damn, she's just reeks of perfume.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I don't know.
So I don't know. I don't know what my scent would be or anything like that, or what my casting signature would be. But I just thought it was an interesting magic system. And yeah, I love these characters.
Yes, 100% read it.
Read it. We both say 5 stars.
5 stars.
Yeah, so that is our coverage of the Crimson Moth. If you have any recommendations if you think there are any more YA romances that we should cover, romanticies or whatever that you would like us to talk about, leave us a comment on our social medias, YouTube, Spotify. And yeah, we will see you next time.